So I had a lot of people ask me about this, and hands down, I'm going to give you the best visualization method, tool, approach that'll work for every single client, guys, and it's very, very quick. Okay. So visualization, it's used as a way for a client to like imagine, see, experience, notice, whatever it is, a certain scene, an image, an idol, a theme, whatever it is related to their therapeutic needs. So it could be a stop smoking therapeutic needs, could be anxiety. They might visualize something that'll represent them quitting smoking. They might visualize something that'll represent them not having anxiety, represent, seeing a loved one who's passed away. That was the reason they had this problem and that problem, and then that gets resolved. Very cool way to do things. So it's used for a way for a client to imagine, see, experience certain scenes, image idols, or related to the theme of therapeutic needs. So now we're on the same page. How do you do this? We first have to understand the problem and the reason why it doesn't work all the time. The problem is not all people can visualize therapeutically or have it mean something. And you know what? That is absolutely fine. I cannot visualize anything. People say, yes, you can, Scott. If you can imagine yourself eating a lemon, you can see the lemon now, you start to taste it in your mouth. Sure, I can probably do that, but it doesn't mean therapeutically I can do it. And the problem begins when we go into the session believing that all clients need to see something, all clients need to feel something, all clients need to visualize, float above their timeline, see three scenes. That is not the case. There is no one size fits all. So the best visualization tool is this thing right here, organic versus forced. Now, have I had clients visualize stuff? Of course. We've even had it through the demos during our ACH training. I've had it with the lawyers before. But how did it occur and what did I say and what did I do? This is exactly what I did. I went on my normal journey to do my hypnotic interview, which we know we all start there with conversation hypnosis. And as a result of asking a client about their problem, following the unconscious minds, following the unconscious moments, finding the insight the client has, they will organically visualize something. That is the key. They visualize something. I did not tell them to. I have never, ever, ever, ever told a client to close their eyes. See this, see that, float above this, see three scenes. Why? Because now I'm forcing clients. If you ever had a client say, I can't visualize, and then you say, yes, you can, and you keep forcing them, forcing them, forcing them, what do you think is going to happen to that client? They're going to get pretty pissed off because they'll believe it's not working. If you can only do things one way, for lack of better words, you're screwed. Because if your client cannot visualize or cannot feel any emotion, doesn't mean that the session's bad. You just need another approach. So forced visualization, wrong thing to do. Forced timeline, wrong thing to do. Forced anything, wrong thing to do. All we do, we know in conversation, most or advanced conversation, that's what we teach our students, is if a client has an image of something, awesome. If they float into a regression, awesome. If they have an age regression, awesome. It's what they needed at that time. But we don't teach, what's funny is we don't teach our students, how do you deal with a regression? How do you get them to see the scene? How do you get them to see visualization and connect to the image? We don't. Your client's unconscious mind is way more intelligent than you. So what does this mean for you guys? You should be very, very happy. I don't have to sit there and drill steps like they have to see this, they have to see that. No, they don't. If you let your client organically have these things occur, it'll be a million times more powerful than any technique, no matter who taught you it or what your script says. It'll be extremely powerful for them and it'll mean more to them. My client can't visualize, I don't care. They can't float above a timer, I don't care. Whatever they do through the sessions, what they need, guys. So you have to understand the difference between organic versus forced. Like I mentioned, this is the last point. Your clients do not need to visualize anything in order to have a breakthrough. Say, well, Scott, doesn't my client need to have this? They need to have that. Believe it or not, guys, your client doesn't even have to be quote unquote traditional hypnosis in order to have a breakthrough. Those two things are separate. Whatever happens during the session is what my client needs. So my client does not need to visualize anything in order to have a breakthrough, nor do they need to have a timeline, a regression, feel any emotions. You don't need to have that. If the client has it, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. When you force a client to do what you want them to, you are forcing them to have a breakthrough the way that you want for them. It's not you that has to have the breakthrough for them. You don't force them because now you're telling them what to do, and who likes to be told what to do? And this whole thing that you get in touch with their unconscious mind and you lead it towards a breakthrough, absolute bullshit, guys. Okay. So wait for your clients to have these things organically. If my client spontaneously falls into a regression, cool. I let them have it. We've had this with demos for our ACH training programs, guys, where a student will go into this random regression out of nowhere. And I tell the student who's the therapist, because we're practicing one therapist, one student, we do nonstop demos. I tell the student who's quote unquote the therapist at that point, don't say anything. Let them sit in it. You don't have to do anything. They say, well, Scott, don't I have to find out what they're seeing, what they're hearing, what they're feeling? No, the client will tell you. What if just sitting in that scene is all they need? So just be quiet. Look at this as like baking a cake. I don't go to the oven and check it all the time and make sure it's baking, or talk to the oven and make sure it's baking it well enough. Just let the oven do what it's supposed to do. Let your client's unconscious mind do what it's supposed to do. Anytime you start over talking or forcing, you will interrupt what the unconscious mind has been doing for their entire life, which is healing. Okay, guys? So that is the best visualization tool, organic versus forced. All right, guys, see you in the next video. Bye for now.